Hi, sweet friends. Figured I'd do a different entrance into my videos. In this video, I'm going to be reading through the related readings that go along with your Agricultural Revolution video and little quiz that you guys took, okay? So we have 4 pages, well, 2 pages, but 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be the audio component for those of you who just like to hear a reading as you read it on your own. So let's start with the first page. It has this image right here. Okay, so we're on the front page. What is going on with my hair? It's one of those days, guys. The Agricultural Revolution was one of the key turning points in human history, as the domestication of plants and animals encouraged the growth of larger, more complex societies. But what do we know of the hunter-gatherer societies that existed before the Agricultural Revolution? Remember, this is all stuff that we just covered with our Old, Middle, and New Stone Age unit, okay? It's hard to say since Paleolithic man had no written language. Interestingly, though, one of the things we do know about prehistoric people is that they played and enjoyed music. In 1996, a team of archaeologists discovered a hollowed-out bone while exploring a cave in Slovenia. The 40,000-year-old bone, originally from the leg of a bear, had 4 regularly spaced and aligned holes in one side. These holes, it was later discovered, correspond to the do-re-mi notes of the diatonic scale. That's pretty cool. You're gonna have to tell Mr. Eastman about this when you see him in music next. Most scientists accept this bone as the oldest known musical instrument in the world. It marks the start of the human fascination with music that has continued across the millennia. This is pretty interesting. So notice the different portions of text that are underlined or highlighted. I made annotations throughout this whole little packet. I said whole as if it was a huge packet. It's only 2 pages. But please take note of the little markings that I put that I wanted to purposely stand out for you guys as you read along, okay? So that's the front of page 1. Let's flip to the other side. Now, we have a little image of, well, it's going to be dark in my video, early man sitting around a fire, and ooh, what does that look like? As Tim mentions in the movie, the Agricultural Revolution occurred when mankind learned to domesticate plants and animals. It's another word we covered and discussed a lot. Domesticating plants seems easy enough, but how did early societies help transform wild, scavenging wolves and felines into faithful, lovable pets that we know today? Dogs were the first animal to be domesticated, sometime between 10,000 and 14,000 years ago, and that the process started via natural selection. Some scientists believe that wild dogs that didn't mind being near people started scavenging from the waste dumps of early humans. These dogs learned to survive in this niche, and over the course of numerous generations, they became increasingly tame. So in other words, they became more and more used to being around people. Other scientists think that some early humans adopted wolf pups, and that natural selection favored the pups that were less aggressive, more agreeable to the humans, and better at begging for food. Either way, today's dogs have inherited a remarkable knack for social cognition. In fact, in 2002, scientists at Harvard University and the Wolf Hollow Wolf Sanctuary found that domestic dogs and even young puppies are better at picking up social cues from humans than any other animal. The scientists presented the dogs with 3 overturned buckets. Beneath one of the buckets was some food. The scientists then pointed, looked, or gestured at the bucket with the food, and then allowed the dogs to choose a bucket. The dogs chose the right bucket more often than any other animal. even adult chimpanzees, who share more than 95% of their DNA with humans. That's pretty cool, huh? So they are very good at picking up social cues from people, those dogs. And we know I'm a dog person. Okay, this piece of hair still just doesn't want to stay behind my ear. Now, please flip to the next page. It looks like this. Oh boy. Here we go. So what was life like at the dawn of the agricultural revolution? There are a few ways to find out. One is to examine archaeological evidence. One of the oldest archaeological sites known is Read-Aloud, which dates from around 7500 BCE. Now BCE stands for before Common Era. Located in modern-day Turkey, Read-Aloud, I think I'm saying that correctly, was first discovered in 1958. Archaeologists estimate that between 5,000 and 8,000 people lived there. And the community is made up of mainly tightly clustered mud brick houses with open areas for dumping refuse. I'm going to have you pause and think about what you think refuse might mean. These houses had no doors or windows. Inhabitants went in and out by climbing ladders to reach holes in the ceiling. Houses were kept really clean, but the families who lived within them usually buried their dead beneath their own floors. Oh my goodness. We're learning lots of interesting things. The people of Read-Aloud clearly had agricultural skills. Archaeologists discovered bins for storage of grains and cereals, as well as evidence that they grew peas, harvested fruits and nuts from nearby trees. However, it is unclear whether or not they had domesticated cattle. So they have evidence of the fact that they would have at least tried their hand at farming in some ways, right? They had agricultural skills, but they don't quite know because there isn't exactly evidence whether or not they domesticated any animals like cattle. Artifacts discovered at Read-Aloud include numerous clay pots, tools made out of obsidian, which is a hard, shiny volcanic rock, and flint daggers with carved bone handles. Read-Aloud's residents also left a rich cultural legacy. Legacy is such a good word. The walls of many homes were painted with vivid murals and numerous small figurines, many of which represent what is believed to be a female deity. They have also been found. Ooh, so my goodness, they found a lot of artifacts looking through this archaeological site. And you know what? I've always thought it would be really cool to visit an archaeological dig site, right? Just to see what you might find, what might be uncovered from the past. I've always thought that'd be kind of cool. All right, friends, the last page, you see a cartoon and then you see some writing, a little blurb that I wrote down below. So the cartoon says, "You truly have a gray thumb." Ooh, now this is where ELA comes into play as well. ELA is in everything. I mean, because it's words. There's words everywhere. But right underneath, I have written a common figure of speech, what we know as an idiom, used to describe someone who is good with plants is, "You have a green thumb." You've probably heard that before, right? So someone who's good at planting, gardening, people might say that they have a green thumb. So my thinker question to you is, what do you think the character means when she describes the girl with the hat as having a gray thumb? What do you think? So that is our little read aloud video. So you have an audio component for when you follow along in your text. I hope that was helpful and that you enjoyed these short little pages that go along with the content we've been learning about, as well as the little video and quiz that you took. So yeah, bye my loves.